This is part 2 of my crypto beginning tips. In my last video, we did just the basic tips with his drone and what to do and what not to do. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put in the information card or in the description. You can watch that now or after this video. But now we get to the real juicy part of crypto, his EMP. So this is going to be the most in-depth tutorial on how to effectively use his EMP, because in my opinion, EMP is probably one of the hardest ultimate in the game to use effectively. It is also the most complicated, and in my opinion, if used to its max, the best ultimate in the game. So without further ado, let's get into this tutorial. Tip number 1, always pop ultimate accelerants whenever possible. Your whole kit is based upon EMP because the drone is useless by itself in a fight. So when you first land and find an ult accelerant, just pop it straight away, because you don't ever want to be caught without EMP during a fight. And also try and keep at least one, if you can, in your backpack, because mid-fight it's so helpful to pop it and get it as quick as possible. So it doesn't have to be just for the lifelines and Watsons, it can be for the cryptos as well. Tip number 2, before you go for the EMP, try and find a banner and ping how many teams in the area, because it's nice to know, if there's 2, then that means there's probably gonna be a third party. So it means you gotta wipe out the squad quickly, or if it's just one, you can take your time. So it's just helpful information for you and your team, and it can, it's called multitask while EMPing as well, So before the EMP, get as close as possible and get into drone view, and then move the drone close. And then if you notice the the enemy team is running away or they're too far, get out of drone view and quickly recall it to reposition yourself closer to the enemy team. So I want you to remember this rule: EMP is only useful if you attack them within 5 to 6 seconds, because that's the quickest someone can get fully healed from your EMPs. 3 seconds if they have gold shields. So you have to be really close and attack them as quick as possible to actually make EMP useful. A lot of people don't realize this, so they EMP from across the map, run to the enemy team for 20 seconds and wonder why crypto sucks. Okay. So next, once you're close enough to your opponents and behind cover, when flying your drone to EMP them, I want you to turn it around where it's facing you so that the drone is completely behind the opponent. So turning your drone around 180 degrees allows you to see where you're located, which means you'll be able to see how far you need to go for the EMP so that it barely misses you. This is a good thing to practice, so you can get as close as possible to the EMP and still not get affected and damage yourself, So turning it around also means that if they want to destroy your drone, they'll have to do a complete 180 degree turn, leaving their backs exposed to you. And if they don't shoot at it, because the drone is turned around facing on them, this means free wall hacks for you, for you and your teams, which almost always guarantees fights. It's really broken. Then once you press the EMP button, exit out of the drone view just before the EMP goes off. This allows you to reposition around your EMP in case you hit yourself, or you're a bit too far and want to get closer, and you can see what shields they have and where they're being located. So when the EMP does go off, make sure to call out to your team what shields they have, where they're located, like if they're in a building, call out what level they're on, and whether they're cracked, because you hear the sound, and or if you didn't crack any shields off, they'll be like no noise, there'll be nothing at all. Tell them they have no shields. Once that happens, make sure to push as hard as possible. If they're just in the open, sniping or shooting them from afar can work too, because you're still attacking them within 5 to 6 seconds. So that's how to use EMP in most scenarios of a fight, but there's also many other specific scenarios in where you would use EMP slightly different. I'm gonna go through them. So the first scenario is when pushing a building. There's this stupid bug that doesn't allow me to do this specific technique as I want to, but it's like where you EMP from outside the drone and you can't pull out your gun for 5 seconds. It might have been intentional, but hopefully it wasn't and it gets fixed soon. So I'm just going to put it here anyway. So if the building has just 1 or 2 levels, put the drone on top of the building. If there are more than that, put the drone like in the middle floor so you can reach the entire building. EMP from outside the drone and get in as close as possible. You could still technically just EMP from inside the drone and pull out your gun, but it's just a bit harder. Second scenario is when you want a better position. Use EMP to get into a better position for ring, because ring is probably the most important thing in ranked and in general. So place your drone in a place where they can't see it. Then when you want to move, press the EMP button and quickly run into the better position. This will force them to heal up and not shoot you, because if they do try and shoot you, they risk the chance of them getting shot at with lower health by enemy teams or even you. The other way to use EMP is called the Self-emp. This is when you purposely EMP yourself. Okay, let me explain when to use this. This is when you can damage part of your shields and know your enemy is somewhat close by. Get into somewhere safe, quickly pop out your drone and just EMP straight away. You can do from inside the drone or outside of the drone view. And then once you do that, use a shield battery straight after. And use a shield battery because whatever damage EMP does to your shields, you'll gain it all straight back from the battery. So make sure you have batteries when you do this. And this is so that your team can attack the enemies with low shields, and it'll kind of scare them away from you because they'll want to heal. And also apparently when you heal from after EMPing from outside of drone view, it cancels it out, and then you can bring your weapon out straight after. So yeah, that's just a little fact to know. And the last scenario is called the snake technique. This technique is usually when a team decides to be really greedy and push, or maybe the team is forced to move because of ring. So basically, just use this anytime where your enemies have to move and you are staying still. So what you have to do is get behind cover and keep your drone in a very high spot so they can't shoot it down or even see it. Then locate your target running towards your team or your body, and as soon as they get somewhat close, like shooting distance, drop your drone down on them to EMP and exit drone view. As soon as you do this, just get out of drone view and just start shooting them. They'll either be surprised you're shooting them, or they'll get EMP'd, slowed, and then it's easy cleanup for you and the team. Here I have another example, but with a full team. So I know this team has to move because of ring. I locate them, they're moving towards me, and then boom, I drop the drone, EMP, and an easy cleanup. So yeah, just like that. Okay guys, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more content just like this, and hopefully I'll see you later. Peace.